Hello, everyone, and welcome to another episode of Zareth Prevails. Kind of. Today we have an interesting opportunity to see into the world of Grand Arena at really, really high levels and at the same time in lower divisions than we're probably used to. Now, the person whose video I'm going to show, and this is their video, they've actually done a voiceover themselves and everything, so we're kind of just gauging to see what kind of interest there is here. This person has won 6 Grand Arena championships, and the ones that he has not won, he has gotten second place. One is in it, he's undefeated, he's never lost a match, and he has gotten either first place, like Premier Kyber Champion, or second place, which is Kyber Contender, and like really close to the top. So I think this video is in Division 4, and before you just click out of it, feel free, of course, if you want, but just keep in mind that this is competition at the very highest level. Like I recently got top 10 in Division 3, and that was pretty cool. I got number 8. I wasn't even close to number 1 though, or number 2. I wasn't close, and it takes a really special talent to be able to maximize their points in every single way possible. This is going undersized squads to the extreme, really min-maxing their units, making sure that their roster has the exact kind of characters that they need to be able to accomplish this. It takes a high degree of skill to be able to get to the very, very top every single time in these divisions, and I'm excited to see this player continue to advance in divisions and see if they can keep this streak up. But this is their first round, and we just wanted to put out a video. So he actually sent it to me about halfway through the season, and I've just been so busy. I'm finally getting it up now. So without further ado, please welcome Wispsi. I can't say that name out loud. So enjoy, guys.
Hey everybody, so I'm Wispsi, and I find I'm not as invested in this Grand Arena as I was in the previous ones, so I figured it would be a great opportunity to actually record some of my battles for anyone that might want to watch. Please bear in mind this is my first ever video, so be gentle, and let's jump into it. I'm Division 4 at 2.9 million GP. And my first opponent here at the first round of the first week gave me the luxury of actually waking up to seeing my board fully cleared. They got a score of 2016, so they failed a lot of battles and they left us a lot of leeway as long as we get the full clear. Of course, turns out this was actually the biggest learning Grand Arena round I've ever had, so you get to see me make a number of mistakes and how I try and pick up the pieces from there once you lose some key teams. My opponent set a fairly heavy defense. It's not the heaviest I've ever seen, but let's be honest, any team that has a relic 5 and 4 Darth Revan with a relic and Bastila Shan with a relic 7 Malak can't really be considered light. I took the mirror because I never fought the mirror. I haven't had to deal with a relic 7 Malak in that kind of team before. I was in a much lower division. Last time there was 3v3, and even though I didn't have as many relics, because my Darth Revan and Bastila Shan are both only gear 13, I did have the faster team, and well, I didn't want to risk any tricky counters with a guy that was clearly going quite defensive. So we went with the faster mirror, most reliable thing. Basically, as far as I'm aware, you just try and kill Bastila Shan Fallen, which is what we did. We lost ours at the same time. We didn't get great banners for it, but at least we didn't lose. So against that team, I'm happy with that. This next round, a very reliable friend told me that as long as I didn't have C3PO, I would not be in danger of timing out versus a damage immune Django if I took my Commander Luke Skywalker squad. Unfortunately, this was one of the very few times that he was wrong. And as you can see, we keep reducing the turn meter. And, well, I can spoil this fight for you guys. He never does take a turn. Now this already puts me in quite a tough position. Basically, in Division 4, you have to place 9 teams on defense. This already stretches the roster quite a bit. What I tend to do is take my 9 out of my best 11 teams for offense, and I will put the rest on defense. So that doesn't leave me a lot left over. Now, especially as I had to use my Malak against that other team, and I can't use him to solo a lesser team, where, the Darth Revan trio stay very strong on their own as well. That means we have even less options, so I've got to attack Django with weaker stuff, which is always a bit terrifying because he regens protection and revives, so isn't that weak. His damage can be pretty high. But, I really have to take this team down before I do anything else. I really like to take the bottom zone first, so then you can see the whole back wall, along with the other teams up top, and it allows you to much more easily choose the most efficient teams and characters to go where. This is where having higher GP actually can come in handy. My opponent had a fair amount higher character GP than me, partly because of his ships. His ships are quite weak. I have, the Negotiator, Relic 7, Anakin, which means he had a lot more characters to work with. So he was just able to throw a lot of stuff at my defense and burn through it. Whereas if I make too many mistakes, there's not a lot at the bottom to, keep on throwing. Now you'll see I go for the cleanup with my Rey Jedi training. She is gear 7. She has no Zetas. Her mods are probably not optimal. I just kind of organized by speed and picked whatever was available, just so she had something. I gave her my R2. He's like gear 10, so that's great. He's got a stun on his basic. I think I didn't need BB-8, honestly. I think I could have just undermanned this without BB-8. He's done nothing. I didn't even try to attack with him. It was a complete waste. He's okay. Now he's got foresight, whilst the guy's stunned and dying. Basically, yeah, if I had known this better, I've never used my Rey before. So it's good to get experience, and after that loss I was just a little concerned, and as we said, we got a lot of leeway because he failed a number of battles, so we don't need to pinch for every point right now. Might hurt us on the leaderboards, but better to secure the win. As you saw, I just used my CLS team, and I sacrificed getting the feat this round. I will have to try and get it next round if I can, because I wanted a guaranteed win, which we didn't get, unfortunately, but that's how it goes. Next, I try and go in order of the most dangerous teams. The ones that are most likely to go wrong, or that if I fail could become a real wall that, throwing stuff at them just will never get past. Obviously, when we're talking about that kind of team, right at the top of the list, you've got Geonosians. They are annoying to deal with. I mean, he keeps summoning the Brute, they got the health share, the protection regen. It's just a bit of a headache, So, I go with the safest option that I've got, the easiest one. I send him my Padme. I don't use Anakin He's not needed for this. It looks pretty scary sometimes. It gets like pretty low on the time as they keep dispelling you, and you don't got the courage. But thankfully, it's kind of always gone through. So I will keep using it when I can. Now, you just got to wait for that moment where you can hit the alpha. I spend a lot of time just kind of spamming the alpha on my phone. You don't get to see it that well here, it's so jerky because it's 1.5 times speed. I thought we didn't want to be here all day, but this does still, give you a sense of how the battles go. And you can see that we got a breakthrough. We managed to just kill off the alpha. It went from looking pretty dicey, 2 minutes, most of them full health, to over in 20 seconds. And we got pretty good banners for that too. Now, of course, the guy did also leave his Jedi Knight Revan on defense. Geonosians and Darth Revan, it's just not enough for some people. But he put it in a weird team. He put it with Bastila lead. Personally, I think Jedi Knight Revan lead is just better to use. But having Bastila lead there does present a different set of problems that, people are going to be less used to, I guess. That's what he's hoping. Now, because of the gear difference, he's gear 12, and I have a Relic 6 Yoda. Bastila is gear 12, Shakti is gear 12, but Relic 6 Yoda means I can afford to not bring along my Jedi Knight Revan. At least that's how I thought. Now, I brought Shakti just to keep it safe. Thought probably would be unnecessary. It looks like it's a good job that I did, because my Bastila is getting pretty low there. Now, we've killed Jedi Knight Revan, so we're back in control of the match. And it's pretty much clean up from here. So thankfully this one went okay. We even got to get a load of protection back for Bastila and healing. So we still walked away with 54 banners, which I'm obviously pretty happy at for going in with 3 people. Next, I went for the Night Sisters, and I took Treya. I thought it would be a great idea. I've used, Emperor Palpatine with his lead Zeta against Night Sisters a lot. It's been, a really reliable thing for me. Usually I don't have Treya in as a 3rd person, she's usually a 4th. But I thought this way she could isolate, the zombie or Daka, toward Fractures 1, we get a load of stuns out and, just start killing people. Then, as you might have noticed, all 3 of them resisted Palpatine's stun, which is a pretty bad start. After that, it goes from bad to worse, basically. The plague stacks up, they kill Thrawn. There's no recovering from this. I end up just closing my game down. It's pointless to continue. It's not like anybody's dead or anything. Zombie just comes on right on back. And so yeah, this was a really big problem for me, because my Emperor Palpatine has been super reliable. I never lost a Grand Arena match with him. I've used him in pretty much every single one. This was a big miscalculation. Obviously there weren't enough debuffs to make, to get the train really going. But Vader's not providing a huge amount either. Having Thrawn in there in the 3v3 makes it a lot more challenging without someone like Bastila falling to step in. Anyway, this means I have to bring out another big team. So as you can see, I take my Jedi Knight Revan. I've got the gear 13 on Jedi Knight Revan, and Jolie even has like 2 relic levels, so it's super safe. I took Ezra just because, that's 2 matches I've lost now. I am playing this as safe as I can. I can't afford any more mistakes. because else I really might not fall clear. I mean, I just had to use a second big team here, and I'm going to have to, improvise on the later parts. But we do manage to clear the Night Sisters, so that is great. It goes all according to plan. Thanks to the prot regen from the lead, we get good banners, missing protection on Jolie. Then we go to the Karth team. Mission and Zabar can be annoying, but this team is all about doing debuffs, which Watt and Boss kind of counter completely together there. When Watt gives him the tech, he dispels the debuffs at the start of his turn, reaches protection, doesn't ever lose taunt. Then he can do, is give himself a cleanse as well with his own ability. They never get past him. Django, as everybody does, starts taking a lot of turns because he gets loads of turn meter and ignores defense, so gets to do loads of damage as well. You see Karth just getting annihilated there. The only thing, the problem with the team is Watt does have to regen his own health and protection by himself. Django and Bosk are pretty much full after every turn, but Watt often gets low in the early AoEs and has to heal it back up, which takes time, so you can lose balance there. But a really solid team for taking out a very large number of things. It's a team that I use quite a lot. It's probably where I use my Watt the most. Yeah, so nice and easy. We get the health back. I did enjoy my food. I didn't really want to tell them about it right then. And we don't quite get the protection, but still pretty good balance. Which is something we really need because we have already lost twice. Now this is funny actually. I have a clip that's over a minute long with me just scrolling up and down, looking to see if there's anybody I should send with Anakin and Hermit Yoda there to make this safer. Usually I wouldn't have doubted like that. I would have thought that I would have, it would have been fine. He's a Relic 7, which done that Anakin, and that's a Gear 11 Shakti. It shouldn't be an issue, especially with Hoda, but after those losses I was a little bit, spooked. So I really had to think about it. Thankfully, as you can see, he really hurts Gear 11s when he's got that much of an advantage, and we get good balance. This next team, I was going to do my Jedi Knight Revenant originally, but because we had to swap mode with the Night Sisters, I decided to gamble on my top 3 damage dealers being able to just kind of, burst through the Sunfac. He's only Gear 12. 2 of mine are Gear 12, my HK is Relic 2. So I thought, maybe they could punch through. As you can probably tell though, it's not really working. And I hold out hope for HK's, big hit to finally come in. So I've seen him hit really hard, on his Sith Empire team against Jedi's. But it does not cut it here. So basically we've wasted our top 3 damage dealers that we've got left and got nowhere at all with this team. So that is once again a really big problem. We're running out of roster options to use. Now, I've been saving my Nest for a sure win on his Ewoks because that fight is one I've done loads of times. I know it's easy, guaranteed. I had way more tenacity than necessary. But I had no other way to face this team. I need to get past the taunt to kill Watt, because I don't have the damage, right? I've just used my best damage dealers and they didn't manage to kill Sunfac. So I got to deal with the people around him first, because Watt's providing a lot of healing. Poe's annoying. And so I decide to send in Nest. I give her the Kira lead, just to make sure that she's got the damage. I know they don't get the extra health because there's no Brood Alpha in there, but I was getting really concerned at this point, and it's much better to lose 3 banners or something than it is to lose the actual fight and therefore the match. So I should have used Nest from the beginning. It was the better choice. The Ewoks were an easier team to beat. I miscalculated there. Nest went straight past the taunt, no problems, killed Watt. Now we can kill off Poggle. Sunfact's gonna constantly dispel himself and gain taunt. If we dispel every hit, that means Nest damage is gonna ramp up really quickly. And if we'd really thought about it, this was just the better option. Ewoks, there are things that can deal with Ewoks. Even just random stuff can deal with Ewoks if it's outgears them though. Not to say Ewoks shouldn't be underestimated. I know I equipped my Logray with loads of potency, and I've seen a number of Nest fails come up in the Grand Arena history. People just don't expect you to be hitting every days or every other days or something like that. So you do have to always check. So Nest is ramping up the damage and starting to hit harder and harder, and will then, as Nest does, just start killing. Even with through that much regen. And so not great banners, we kind of lost a team, but manageable. Thankfully though, this is the last team that we have to deal with. And I do have a Zeta on Talzin. She's not got the gear or the team to use it really. I put it on her just so I could do the first challenge tier of the assault battle. But here at least it, maybe comes in a little bit handy. So with the Boba Fett in there as well to ability block at the beginning, it goes nice and smoothly. That means we ended up losing 3 battles in all and almost not having enough roster to finish off these last teams. I definitely should have taken Nest against the Watt team. That was not something I've got a ton of experience with, and I was really expecting my damage dealers to do more damage. I'm just not used to using them when they're out of their teams or anything. So, you could say 3v3 might be good in a way for letting us learn all these interactions, but the balance here is just terrible in my opinion. So at least, for me it takes any pressure off and I can just have fun with it, which is nice. The ships here, we definitely won. We took the Negotiator 7 stars against his Thrawn with Gear 12 Geonosians. I try to bring in my Plo for extra regen, and he immediately brings in a Hyena Bomber and AoEs everybody, so that kind of backfired, but the battle is won and we still get fairly good banners. So this was my Grand Arena. This is where he attacked me. You can see we won by quite a few points, even though we did lose the battles. He lost 3 battles against my First Order, which I just met my Kylo Ren really fast. He's not got the health to tank anything anyway at that gear level, so I just made him really fast to stun all the time. Seems to trip people up a bit. So that was my Grand Arena. Hope you enjoyed watching it. It was definitely an intense one to play through. There's losses, you feel the sinking feeling in your stomach. You're like, no. But we managed to pull through in the end. So yeah, best of luck in your own battles, and hopefully see you for the next round.